The second item on the agenda after calling a meeting to order is approving the meeting minutes of February 5th, which seemed all very straightforward. Did anybody catch anything?
I did not.
Yeah, my name, page 2, Hutchison, not Hutchinson.
Get the N out of Reese's name.
Get the N
Where
out.
is it? What page?
The second page from top. It would
Oh,
be
there it is.
Oh, I-
3 of 4.
3, yeah. Oh, you only have one N in your name?
Yeah, it's the more frugal Scottish.
No
version.
N. Oh, yeah, we got the
Yeah,
N at the
yeah.
end, I guess. Yeah, only one N.
Sorry,
Frugal
you
Scottish.
should know that by now.
All right, do I have a motion on the minutes?
What, the frugal part?
Peter first.
Yep.
Anybody second?
The second.
Reese seconds. Any further discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
The minutes are approved. Item number 3 on the agenda is 719 Boston Post Road, also known as Old Town Hall Homes. Further discussion on the sewer connection. I see that we have just been handed, fresh off the presses,
Civil 1?
some additional information dated today, March 5th, that I have not read since it just hit my hands about 2 minutes ago. What would you like me to do with this new information?
Somebody here from Civil One?
Oh, okay, great. You're just going to tell me what I should know. That's even better. Yeah, the microphone there is all wired up, so we need you to talk into that.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
For the record, C1 Sal, I'm a project manager from Civil One. I'm here in place of Emily, she has kids duty.
Do you have a card that you can hand our court reporter? Okay.
Is this a good place for
Yeah, as long as you feel like you can point to it. Do you want it behind you or in front of you? Yeah, maybe pull it
They
back.
teach you that in engineering school? Etiquette on the board?
No, you just go to, several hundred hearings over the course of your life.
Look how many people tip it over, right?
Usually we do
So you're gonna give me the spelling?
town employees first. When does Pam want to talk? Under 7? We'll pull her up.
No, you need to speak, be at the dais and speak into the mic so
Is it,
the television.
No,
hear
it's
you.
short lane.
Sorry.
We're short lane.
Good afternoon. Again, for the record, C1 Sal, I'm a project manager from Civil One. I'm here representing the developer for 719 Boston Post Road.
Yes.
And existing site has 6 different buildings, 30 residential units, and we're proposing to build one single unit with 57 units, residential units. And we're here seeking the approval for sewer connection at the same location. There will be a single 6-inch PVC line going out to the manhole here. The existing condition, the manhole only serves the building, so it's the start point of the sewer line. And we did some conservative estimate on the sewer demand. Does everyone has a copy of the spreadsheet we prepared?
Okay.
So wait a
Yeah,
minute,
that's
so-
the second page of this, I believe?
Yes.
So they're going out to 91 and then it goes up to 94? Is that from this one? Is that correct?
There's a manhole directly in front of this site,
Yeah, 91.
and I believe across the street is 89.
Yeah,
Is that
but
right?
to get there, you gotta go up and around.
Right, so what the engineer suggested to us is that it wouldn't be worth doing a capacity analysis downstream because the manhole that's in front of the site only serves their site, which I agree. It doesn't matter. I'm sure whatever's out in front can handle that one site. I suggested that perhaps they would go across the street where that manhole travels to the east, then it crosses the road to the south, and then travels to the west, and ends up back in front of the site. And that would better capture more of the sewer shed than just this individual site on its own.
Oh, there you go, yeah. Yeah, I guess where we, at least where we left the need for downstream analysis last time was that, yes, we needed to go downstream to a logical degree to capture what might be flatter pipes or smaller pipes to the satisfaction of your advice. And so Are you saying have they followed that advice yet, or
No.
you're making that advice now to them? Okay,
No, as you mentioned, we got
Just
this
got it.
letter today,
Yep.
which is not a downstream capacity analysis. It's
it's
an
just a
analysis
generation.
of the site itself.
Okay, great. You want to continue your presentation?
So we just did the quick sewer demand analysis and
Yep.
find out that the increase in sewer is only count towards 1 or 2% of the whole capacity within a pipe. And based on
The first pipe,
yes, the first pipe.
Yep.
And
which is effectively your lateral.
right, and that includes all the sewer pipes downstream too. Will
Oh,
only
okay.
increase 1 to 2% within the whole capacity, because the entire development we're only estimating 0.05 CFS generated peak flow from the entire development.
How many dwelling units are included in,
57.
and how many bedrooms in each of the dwelling units?
It's a single bedroom.
55.
in each.
Single bedroom.
55 units, 57 bedrooms.
Oh, got it.
Two bedrooms.
Thank you.
And we estimated using a design flow per unit is 130 gallon per day, and also using a 4.24 peak factor on top of that.
Yep.
The 130 gallon per day, we come up with the past 5 years of water use data, and then times 1.5 of safety factor.
So your peak flow from the site that you are using is 0.05?
Correct.
Okay, great. And how many pipes downstream did you analyze?
We only have sufficient information for the adjacent pipe next to us, which
Okay.
is 12-inch duct iron pipe.
Okay. And so this is,
Manhole number 5.
Is that
95?
89?
Correct.
89 is 12 inch, yeah.
It's manhole number
According to this.
95.
Is that number 89?
okay.
Manhole?
That's this one
Is that the
here.
intersection? Okay.
All right, so this is Goodwives,
I'll have
and
to
we're
check
coming
on that
down
one.
by Town Hall Homes is right.
Here you
It's
are.
the red.
Here
Is
you
that
are
them?
over here, and the red.
Oh, no,
the
you're
red
right,
is
you're right,
the-
right. It's not
Yes,
one
that's
of
over
the-
by
so
the
that's
junior
it,
league
that's it.
building.
Here,
I do have another map.
So there's 95 and 95A.
Yeah. But it's coming this way, right? Yeah.
It goes up towards Norwalk, comes across the street, and then comes down.
Down,
The
right.
89 is like by the junior league there building.
Oh, so the
Right.
eight goes east,
Oh, got it.
and then
The-
south across the road, and then back in the 12-inch going west.
Yes.
This hatched area is
So
our site.
89 there is by the, the junior league.
Yep.
Show me the flow.
What used to be the yellow
Yeah.
balloon.
So we have the development area hatched over here,
Mm-hmm.
and we're tying into manhole 91. And then it goes east, up, and then goes down back to 89 over here.
Okay. So
All right.
you've put these slopes and pipe sizes in here
Mhm.
based on what information? Just kind of guesses, or?
Right, based on assumption.
Okay.
And assuming it's only 1%, we still less than 2% of the total
Well, do we
capacity.
know that 12-inch is not flatter than 1%?
Well, again, assuming.
Do we have profiles of these in Post Road?
We should. They're old, but we should.
Yeah. They
I can look
knew
more.
they knew how to work a level even when they installed these things, so it should
Yeah, we
show
have
up right in the
lots of
profile.
Very old Mylars that
Yeah.
I would be surprised if we didn't have something.
Okay. And so, from staff's perspective, based on your institutional knowledge of our sewer system and potential areas of concern, how, if you were going to say a manhole number to be the downstream side of their downstream analysis, which manhole number would you say?
Going by memory, the one across the street is at 89.
Yeah.
89.
Yep.
So you think they should at least analyze the pipe capacity from the site
Yeah.
through manhole 89? And we want to try to get better information than assumptions. And we may have that better information in our filing system with the profiles of the pipes. Darren, do you think it merits at least a spot check in terms of, quantity of flow in the pipe in a peak morning or a peak evening condition, or do you not think that this is a significant sewer shed?
I think that this sewer shed has significant flows, whether it's a significant sewer shed or not.
Yeah, got it.
There are known problems downstream of this manhole. The commission has decided to stop in this area and not carry it down to the bridge, for the railroad bridge, for example.
Yep.
So,
I mean, should we
If you're
get
asking, we'd need more
should we get a
survey
spot,
information?
in terms of flow, should we get a spot check of flow during a peak morning condition or a peak evening condition, depth of flow in a pipe, just something to benchmark, how much water's flowing in there right now?
the commission has decided that in the past.
And then Craig, this site's now not inactive at all. There's nobody living there, so they have to X that off the flows.
Yeah, and then you'd have to do a total add versus, and this .05 is effectively a total add for the site, based on peak
For
flow, based
a
on.
more
adequate flow.
substantial development, the commission did decide that they wanted flow meters set up, or,
Yeah.
that's the analysis.
That's the threshold. I don't want to go flow meters. It's,
Okay.
personally, it's not a huge
It's not.
project. 57 bedrooms is not a huge project. Replacing, how many bedrooms are there today? 30?
Right.
So, the next 27 bedrooms isn't a big deal. But I think that this is an opportunity just to kind of check what's happening there. And so to me, going out and looking at a peak residential morning and a peak residential evening condition, depth of flow in the pipe, gives us something to kind of have a baseline on to understand not just what is this .05 relative to the total capacity of the pipe, what does this .05 mean to the remaining capacity of the pipe? And that would be more relevant.
So is there a threshold? If the existing capacity is over, assume 70%, you will not allow any additional discharge into it? Because we're really
that's
only
a
increasing .03.
I
CFS.
appreciate the question, and I think it's a good question, and I don't know if I have a clear and definitive answer for you now. What I'm hoping is that when you observe the condition, it'll be a condition that puts our minds at ease in that, it's nothing that's taking up a significant portion of the pipe.
Will be a single day observation be sufficient to support our?
If this is the right time, I think so. Things are pretty consistent
It's wet
day after
here.
day.
It's wet right now, so.
Yes, I mean, soon and a typical morning, and
Yeah.
typical evening.
Okay.
You want to
You
get
can catch the
them
morning peak.
morning and an evening?
Yeah, because we don't know which one's the
Right.
peak, probably the evening. but-
And would you expecting a full report or just some description?
Well, I think
or
if you
picture?
go back to this and, kind of marry the two, because you need to look at the actual slopes of the pipes in whatever records we have in terms of profiles.
Sure.
For, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections of pipe through manhole 89, basically 91 through 89. And redo that item and then talk about remaining capacity in those bits based on what we're putting into it.
Okay, no
Yeah.
problem.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions for Civil One while they're here? And did you have any other presentation?
Nope.
Anybody else?
Darren, just a quick question, like, if in this case, the issues aren't till further down, but this is still part of the whole system that contributes to problems at further down manholes connections, how do we relate that? How do we as a commission think about that in totality of the
Yeah,
sewer?
where do
shed?
you stop?
Where do you
And
stop?
For what size
Yeah.
project?
Now, that's what we discussed during our last meeting.
Yep.
On one end of the spectrum, you stop at Nearwater Pump Station before it goes to Stanford. And,
Work your
on
way
the
back.
other end.
I got it.
So,
But there's.
I wanted to go to the railroad bridge. Because I know that we have a known problem there. The commission disagreed, that's fine.
Well, I don't remember a very specific and pointed discussion over that.
We didn't disagree, we just, we kind of left it in the engineer's hands as
Yeah.
to
What
what
made-
they
yeah, that's what I
thought,
remember.
and we wanted them to justify where they stopped.
Well,
So,
we could agree not at the manhole in front of their building,
Yes.
Right.
without a doubt.
Farther than that, we know that.
further than that, so.
But I mean, if you're, I don't know, I mean, they've heard the information, so.
Yeah, but to playing devil's advocate, so at the railroad bridge, we have several sewers that converge
Right.
and then continue on west
That's
onto the
correct.
bridge. And so we're adding a bunch of flow at that point, so we know maybe there's a concern at that point. But let's say we had a flow meter there, it's not a problem causing overflows, but, what is that flow meter going to show us? And then what are we expecting this applicant to do about it? I guess that's a theoretical question.
Yes.
Yep.
I would tend to agree with the commission and the engineer that an extra 30 houses might end up being, 30 bedrooms might end up being equivalent to 10 houses,
Yeah,
3-bedroom houses.
yeah.
Not a big deal, but
And then we also talked about the
Straw that broke
efficiency
the camel's
improvements
back.
of new
Right,
fixtures
for
and new
I&I.
plumbing
Yeah.
and.
May I ask another question?
Yes, please.
I believe that's a very good question. So specifically for this application, how far should we trace down to do the capacity? Existing
Yeah, I
capacity
mean, I
houses?
guess Bob had the correct recall. Basically, we had suggested that the engineer, you guys, come up with a justification for why you stopped where you did. And to use your judgment. Like, it makes sense to stop here because the next pipe is bigger, or the next pipe is steeper, or the sewer shed's consistent and we're fine in this pipe. Some justification for analyzing as far as we did makes sense.
I guess the only information we have now is the existing pipe we're tying into is a 12-inch pipe,
Yeah.
0.5% slope,
Yep.
which is still less than 2% of the capacity increase on that existing pipe. And
So, I'm sorry,
Right.
it's a 0.5% slope pipe?
I actually got an email from the surveyor about an hour ago.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, so we don't have that
But
information in
that's
front of us.
the only the existing pipe we're tying into, only the first section.
Oh, okay. And yeah, so we've asked you to go to at least 89.
Okay.
And again, provide a justification for why that makes sense. If the next pipe is flatter than that one, well, maybe we should look at that. If there's a big intersection with a lot more flow coming in, maybe that's not where we stop. So provide us a justification for why you chose to stop at 89 or go further.
Okay, will do.
All right.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody good? Staff, you good? All right, item number, now, before we go farther,
Yeah,
I'm going to use my chairman's prerogative to
which,
move the agenda around a little
the
bit.
appeal, there's no one here.
No, not that one. Actually, I
Okay.
saw Pam Gary. Oh, there she is in the back. So we usually do give deference to our town employees to make presentations, although I believe this presentation is not on the agenda. Is that correct?
no,
So that we would have to
Be under new
vote to entertain new business?
2/3 of vote.
Okay. Do I have a motion to entertain
So moved.
new business? I have a first. Do I have a second?
Here.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the new business is going to be on Short Lane. Pam, what would you like to tell us?
Make it short.
Was that a pun? Short lane?
We're going to other business?
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cool little plan.
This is cool.
It's great.
So if you haven't heard about the project, we did have it listed as a capital improvement plan that was approved to have a design done for the Short Lane property that was bought by the town a good 5 or 6 years ago. And when I was first hired here in 2015, that was one of the first charges, was to try to figure out what to do with the property.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah. So, from that time, we then went into the Parks Master Plan, having had some strong feelings in regards to what to do with the property, and to go out into the community and find out what was priority, and put it into a full 10-year master plan. And from there, after completing that a year later, we were approved to get a design done for Shortline, really wanting to do something with the land rather than have it just sit there. And in this past June, we did have a little bit of extra money at the end of the year. We had a landscape company come in and help our Parks Department to remove a lot of the branches and shrubs and really clean out a major portion of just that Shortland property, just to give a feel for the waterfront view that you can get from the parcel that integrates right into Weed Beach. So with that, the design, we wanted to incorporate also the broken branches and trees, acreage that separates the actual sewer department and the property, which hence belongs to the sewer commission.
Oh,
And so although being
So
town
from-
property, it is,
that's why you're here.
that's why I'm here.
So that is on this map. If I
Right, and
get
if you
this
look
right-
at the first page, the
Okay.
first page will show you the red dotted line.
Yeah.
And although, then you'd have to refer back to the other parcel that gives the red.
Okay, so
Front
under
page-
Parks Department control is within this red?
Right.
And so we're just over here?
You're
Right.
there now,
Yeah.
but just beyond that, and you see a driveway
Yes.
coming down, that starts the short lane property going south to the
So
water.
yeah, I'm looking at this a little slightly more accurate plan, the C-102. There appears to be property boundaries in the background in red. So is that kind of what you're
Right.
talking about?
Yes.
Okay, so this technically is under our control right now?
Yes.
Got it. And then this is,
And
okay.
so,
So wait a minute. So like,
The whole wetland area is
25% of it is
technically sewer
Right.
commission
Right.
right.
jurisdiction
And
owned
the
by town of
wetlands that you
Darien.
see in there, then in the colorful design, you can see how the wetlands were enlarged so that we could mitigate the
Oh, yep.
wetlands that were closer to the water,
Yep,
and
got
with
it.
hopes that we're dealing with EPC with that right now,
Yep,
being able to move that small part of wetlands,
yep.
enhance the larger one, which is on the sewer commission's property, and town property.
You do a little swap.
You get a little swap, and then that would enable
Okay.
us to then, fill it and be able to grass it over into a nice sloping lawn to the water.
Interesting.
yeah.
So your ask is effectively, can we do this?
Can we do this? Correct.
And I suppose the philosophical question before us is, it's a matter of balancing uses and needs of the town.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly in the near term, we can't really envision a need for the sewer commission needing this area of property, and so it might as well serve a better purpose in the near term. But we can't predict the long term.
Correct.
Right? So we would still need, I would think, the ability in the future to say, well, it turns out,
We need to expand.
who knows, X, Y, Z, we got to do something, so we're kicking you to the curb.
Yes,
You know, or whatever.
yes.
Well,
Yeah. You have some thoughts, Peter?
with the wetland there, restored,
Hmm.
if you have a bad storm,
Mm.
it's already wet,
Mhm.
I wonder what happens to our facility next door.
What type of bad storm? Because if it's a coastal,
Hurricane.
well, if it's a coastal flood, it doesn't matter,
It's all underwater.
One way or the other.
how big that wetland is or where it is, because the wetland that we're really dealing with is Long Island Sound.
Well, I mean, I thought that whole thing was a wetland, that whole property.
I guess not.
I guess the question is, would any excavation of the restored wetland for sort of flood mitigation be of value? Does it need to stay at grade, slightly below grade, or could it be less than below grade?
In my opinion, from very little study, but a lot of experience, is the risk for that pump station is a significant coastal flood.
Yep. And it wouldn't matter.
you know, whether you dug out the wetland or
right.
left it higher or left it lower,
Dig it to
it
China,
you know,
right.
doesn't
True.
doesn't
Underwater.
matter at all. So I don't see our risk assessment for the pump station changing at all.
The pump
Based
station
on-
But
only,
what
only
happens
had
if in the
issues.
future, as you were pointing out,
Yeah,
you kind of have a need,
yep.
and
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Well,
you get in the argument with Stanford, and you have to
Yeah.
make a
That's-
wastewater treatment
That's
plant.
what, exactly what.
That's where you're gonna put it.
That's the need.
so they would have to
You're gonna
They would have
start
to
dropping
make-
in
they would
package
have to-
plants right there.
have a new restored wetland
Yeah.
somewhere, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, yes, I mean, look, and none of these things, we'd have the same issue whether there was a park there, a usable park
Yeah,
there or
yeah.
not. We would have to mitigate wetlands, figure out what we're doing, figure out how to fit package treatment plants. It's that old adage about only God and civil engineers would put a wastewater discharge next to a recreation area. That's for Channel 79's highlight reel, but,
Congratulations.
yeah.
Quotable track.
Just to clarify, you're a civil engineer?
Yeah, I guess I'm the only one here.
Just to clarify.
Are we ruling out God, please? What were the historical uses of that? Was that ever settling ponds or something?
Yeah,
for
this is, all of a sudden, very interesting.
Settling pond.
We
Yeah,
have,
before we sent our stuff
For
to
the
Stanford,
plant?
where did it go?
Yeah, did it go here? Was it?
I would assume it's
big
those two
open-
round buildings.
Yeah.
Well, those are the pump.
I
buildings,
don't
man.
think so.
No.
No, those are
No,
newer.
no, they're either digesters or
clarifiers or
or
something.
clarifiers or settling tanks.
I thought there was some sort of open system with grates over on that, next to where
I
the
gotta look at the
restored
old
wetlands
aerials.
be, right?
There's definitely things there.
I know there was an outfall.
Come on.
you all,
Yeah.
you had your chance. I cannot find a map, and the ones I do find do not show any structures below ground, above ground in that area.
Did you look at
Everything
the
is on
aerials?
What's that?
The 10-year aerials, the flyovers?
1955 map.
Anything
It
earlier?
Oh, yeah.
shows the settling basins,
Yeah.
the sludge, one of the clarifier, primary clarifiers
Yeah.
was one of the round buildings, the other one was added later. Everything stayed over in that parking area.
So we had never expanded out of that footprint anyway,
We did not. We did
based
not.
on your research.
When that
Based
says
on what I could find so
reserve
far.
tree buffer, are those trees there now?
There are some of those trees there, yes.
They're gonna add more?
If, whatever we need to in terms of putting between the residents and the, yes.
So
We're gonna
I-
need a lot.
I
Well, we
think
did have a
it-
public hearing on it last week at the recreation. We had quite a few neighbors show up, and they were very satisfied.
Yeah.
Peter, would they really want trees that would block their view?
Yeah.
Well,
Finally,
there's
I
trees.
don't know, I mean, it's.
Yeah,
A couple
it's,
umbrellas aren't gonna bug me as much.
There are
I see
trees
the
there
water.
now,
Yeah.
right?
But
They'll
I
have
mean,
to be
whoever
pruned
lives on
appropriately.
Newark, that's up to them.
So, yeah, I mean, let's
It's a way, right.
That's not-
let's stay in our box, right?
Right.
Our box is,
So what if we,
as the sewer commission,
what if we considered subject to, we like allowed the use, but
Yeah.
if we ever need it back, we take it back?
yeah, basically a revocable allowance.
Yeah.
Chances of which are small.
Yeah, yeah,
Likely, yeah.
yeah.
And how do we document that?
Yeah,
Town
well, I was
council.
gonna ask you.
Give them a,
Sorry. Is this something that we should check with town council,
Yeah.
see how we would address this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it.
A
there-
license.
There should be some.
Understanding that this is town property, quote unquote,
Yeah.
under the authority of the sewer commission, basically.
Yes,
How do we document going forward the use that's proposed here by the town
yeah,
on its
Yeah.
own property,
yeah.
but under your jurisdiction?
But
Well,
you
see,
do have to
I'll just-
realize that the
train me
WPCA,
to-
which we are, may have a different outlook than the town may.
and a legal
What
responsibility.
is best for the
Yeah.
WPCA
Yeah.
is not necessarily best for the town.
And
Well,
Bob,
I
we-
just heard you say not more than 2 minutes ago that this was good for now. We just need to make sure
Yeah,
that we're
well, no,
covered
no,
later.
I didn't say
That
that.
is what,
I
that,
don't think you're contradicting yourself, Mark.
that's pretty much what I heard you say.
Me?
We can play it back later.
I didn't say it. I'm sure I didn't say it.
Okay, so.
And I
so-
can understand the different stands that you could take. I'm just trying to
Let
lay
me-
out, how do
it
we
would
keep
be
this
worded-
simple
it'd be-
and understandable for the future when we're all not
Yes,
here?
yes.
It would be worded something like, the Darien Sewer Commission does not object to a restored wetland on the Sewer Commission's property.
Or the use of the property
Or the
as
use of-
demonstrated.
Subject to the right to revoke the permission if in the future a need for that property is determined
To serve
So-
the
to
purposes of
serve
the
the
sewer commission.
purposes of the commission that,
Yep.
you know, that must be served. I mean, yeah.
So
What
was
what
that
we're
a-
hearing is you'd like staff to look into some language
Yeah,
that could be
exactly.
documented, and we could use town council to help us and guide
Sure.
us.
So
in that.
what I
Exactly.
would like to do, though, is I'd like to provide a definitive response to our
Yeah, of course.
Director of Parks. And so it sounds to me like perhaps that's a motion to direct town council to prepare an
That's
adequate
good.
resolution for our consideration at the next meeting.
Right.
Such resolution being as described.
I'd make that motion.
Sounds like you did. Do I have a second of that motion?
No, I want to visit the site before I'll do anything like that.
Okay. Do I have another second? Or do we-
I'll second
You'll
that.
second the motion of the
Yeah.
preparation of the
Yeah.
resolution, not a voting on the resolution, just
No, but
preparing the resolution.
you're, in my opinion,
Moving too quick?
yes. We need to see what's there and, you know, move a little slower on this. You can't make property.
What is your schedule,
Volcanoes.
Pam? If you could, what do you see your schedule moving forward in terms of steps you need to take to continue to move action on this?
this?
Yes.
Recently, it slowed down
Okay.
because we just get a cut, it was cut out of the budget.
Oh, darn.
So we were given $50,000 to do some maintenance of the property in hopes that, we were hoping that the residents would be able to use it this summer.
Yeah,
And I think with that 50,000, we might be able to do some, although that's July 1st and on.
yeah,
Might
You
be able
can't-
to,
you
we
can't
might be able to
effectively-
fill. We're going to continue getting the approvals that we need
yeah.
in order to provide that land enough maintenance that people can use it.
So my
This
question
would have
is,
nothing to
again,
do with the sewer area.
if we took, so the fast track is taking 1 month to try to get to a resolution.
Yeah.
The measured track is potentially taking 2 months to get to a resolution. Does
That would
that,
be
does that impact you?
That does not impact me.
I'm comfortable with that. I'll agree with
Okay.
you. I'll even
Yeah.
go walk it with you.
So, but
Pretty cool.
is it?
I don't know what I want, what
Yeah.
is there to see.
But is it reasonable to have
Call me.
Yeah, that'd be
town
nice.
council to kind of look at it and prepare some thoughts on what a resolution might look like?
Well, yes, because there may be some options in the resolution.
Well, I think they
Okay.
should weigh in
And I-
on legally who should control it, who should own it, who should manage it. Maybe we don't want to own it. Maybe we want the right to take it back and have Parks and Rec
Yeah.
own it.
So you're
Yes.
You're suggesting you're not ready to decide whether the answer is yes or no, or whether or not there's more information contained in the resolution, and you need more time to think about it. But I do think there's no need to delay a month to get town council to kind of weigh in and prepare something headed in the direction.
Sort of how
we
do we
might
do
resolve
it, the
this.
mechanics of it.
I can live with that.
Okay,
I just
okay,
thought at first glance, it sounded like we were moving a little,
okay. So we have a first to have town council prepare a draft resolution for our consideration. We have a second.
Yep.
Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
I think that.
All those opposed? All those abstained? Okay, 301. So you get a sense for where we're headed,
Yeah.
and we'll do the right thing and take the time to do it.
And
Get
so would the plans going forward for me to come back at a?
Yeah, why don't you be here next month? Yeah.
Or the
Okay.
month after.
Yeah.
Or the-
Well, plan on next month unless we say we're not ready yet, I guess.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I appreciate it.
Great, thank you.
Right,
Thank you for all your work.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
is there a scale to this one?
All right, heading back on to the regular agenda. Item number 4 is next, 63 St. Nicholas Road, sewer lateral connection, discussion and action. Anybody here representing 63 St. Nicholas Road? No?
I don't think so. I can give an update to the commission.
Please.
Very briefly. We provided 63 with a similar type easement, and their attorney worked on it, passed it on to 65's attorney. 65 reviewed it and made some changes and passed it back to 63.
Oh, okay. So the,
We have
so
not gone
the,
to town council,
so
our
the-
town council yet.
so the deed wasn't as concrete as we thought we might like it to be, and they actually have to generate some new language.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
to be clear, we have not contacted town council on this yet.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we're not sure.
We're waiting for language from the two property owners
Right.
that they
See
agree
what
with.
they come up with, and then we would go to town council.
Okay,
That's great.
nothing further
Because they
to,
actually, they
Yeah.
actually created a document,
Peter would like to table this.
no action required.
I agree.
Well done.
Item number 5 is 74 Christie Hill Road, sewer lateral connection permit issue, Sarah Christensen. Discussion and action.
Okay,
You have something on that?
I
don't you?
emailed the commission some information that Mrs. Christensen provided to me. And
Thought I
Mrs.
remembered seeing
Christensen
that.
said that she would,
It's not in front of me.
It's in this packet.
Oh, it's in the packet. Okay.
Didn't, oh no, wait a minute, where'd I see it? No, I saw it on the email. That's right.
yeah, in that email.
There is 5 in here?
No, it was in the first email we got from Darren, where before I asked that things be electronically sent, so we
Yeah.
were trying to catch
can-
up.
I can summarize.
Please do.
Yeah.
I think I can summarize what Ms. Christensen said, and Ms. Christensen's here, and she can speak for herself. In general, Ms. Christensen bought the house at 74 Christie Hill. It was attached to a sewer. The property was subdivided before she bought the house. When the house next door on 73 Greenleaf went to build upon that property, the sewer obstructed the building. Her sewer was relocated. There was a permit. We did find a permit. We have no information on inspections. Ms. Christensen's feelings are that she should not be burdened by the cost of this extra work. And we've explained to Mrs. Christensen that we would need to do something to let people know that this piece of sewer was never inspected. And if I mischaracterize anything,
Now, is this,
yeah.
is
That's
this
interesting.
piece of sewer serving the neighbor? Why don't you come on up and introduce yourself?
There's a drawing in here.
I see the drawing,
Okay.
You should have probably, I'm Sarah Christensen.
and I did get your
All right.
email, and I'm just looking for it now. So
Her
I'm not
house
trying to be
is over
rude,
here.
I'm actually trying to get the
No, that's
information.
fine.
Okay.
It's kind of a
Here's the
confusing story, and
proposed,
I attached a timeline to
Yes.
kind of
Easement.
show how it
So
kind
if I had
of,
to
so can I just
guess-
give it to you really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
please,
sure.
please, please,
That'd be
please.
good.
Okay,
Sewer line
so
going all the way to Greenleaf.
Rob Ingraham bought the
Gentlemen?
property.
Hold on one second, I want to make sure everybody's listening.
Because they put the house in there.
Go ahead.
Rob
Yeah.
Ingraham bought the property, I believe, like in September 2000. He submitted a plan of subdivision in September of 2000. It was approved in late October 2000. We bought the house, which has the house that has been sitting there for 100 years. That used to be 3.5 acres. The front half is where the subdivision is. So it's 1.5 acres or however 3.5 acres is divided. We're a little less than an acre and a half each, a little more than, excuse me. So we bought the house and closed in December. The property in front was for sale at the time. In January 5th, Mr. Pagliarulo, who is a builder, bought the property in front of me. And as you can see in the map, the sewer, which I never knew where the sewer went right through the property that he was building on. Unbeknownst to me, he filed an easement to move the sewer because he can't build it without the sewer being moved,
Unbeknownst to you.
unbeknownst to me.
Wow.
So the sewer
Doesn't sound like a
then,
real easement.
the sewer line gets moved, and I don't realize that he didn't pull a permit, or he did pull a permit and maybe it got lost, or he filed an easement, but the circle, as the word is that I was being told, has never been closed. So some balls dropped, but I never knew any balls were in the air.
Let me ask a quick question.
Sure.
Part of the sewer that was moved, was that on your property?
No.
Oh,
Oh,
that was, so which,
So if you look at the subdivision, you have the subdivision map?
so, yeah, if you could come over here.
It went right through there, and he.
They would
And
have
show me
had
which house is yours?
I think she
Or which
would say
property
that.
is yours?
Here,
Oh, that is yours?
yes, but
'Cause-
I have a map that'll show you, do you have that other map that shows the subdivision?
They're on either side of the
Backside.
same page.
Backside of it.
So, I think it's on the back. So,
Huh?
Yeah.
It's in there.
So this is you.
This is my, no.
Oh, this is
my
you.
house.
Okay, got it.
So
It's,
we're living
uh,
here, big trees,
like the
everything there.
Second
Yeah,
page
yeah,
to the
So
back.
he built here, so here's our
built here.
sewer,
Of
Got it.
and then
package.
he,
Oh, he moved your,
Yes.
so this is your sewer that happens to go across the.
well, it didn't used to, it
Yeah,
used to
yeah,
go
yeah,
right
yeah.
here.
So-
Now it goes like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
and like that, and if you look at his sewer map, you can see his,
He made it out.
Boy,
what he
this is a mess.
proposed
Yeah.
was to have it
Yeah.
jog.
Yep,
So basically, he did all the work on the property that he controlled without telling you.
your lateral
Yes,
one.
says he
Effectively.
didn't, but
He says he didn't?
he said he'd never moved a sewer line. Because I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago,
That's
and
even
he said,
worse.
no, I never moved a sewer line, but he filed an easement. So,
Who pulled the permit?
I don't think,
Well, in
well,
other
you
words,
said you found the permit.
Yeah, it was
in
county.
other words, the easement that he filed, he did that because the existing sewer line was now gonna be on somebody else's property.
No, it was.
No,
No.
his.
It's
It's
gonna
underneath
be-
the
yeah, I mean-
house, underneath the foundation of the
Well,
house.
of his house.
That
Yes.
he was going to
Yeah.
build. It was only,
Yeah.
he bought a parcel of land.
But he said he never moved it. So he built
but-
the
I
house
didn't
on
move
top
it.
of
We
the
have
sewer.
literally have a map that shows that at least he moved the easement.
Yeah,
And he filed a permit to move it.
yes.
Yeah, no, I understand
The
that.
permit is in Mrs. Christensen's name.
What?
Filed
The
by,
permit was pulled by County Construction.
That
County
name ring a bell?
Construction was employed by Joe
Oh,
Pagliarulo.
my.
County Construction did all of the excavation work and sewer work on the 73 Greenleaf property behind 74 Christie Hill property.
Well, when that property was transferred, when it was subdivided and transferred, right? That sewer from that property line which was created, kind of belongs to that new piece of property. Because,
well, I mean,
well, you have a subdivision.
But
No,
they had
An
an easement.
there's an
That
easement.
allowed it to
There
go
was an
across the
easement.
property that you're talking about.
They just,
Yeah, but I mean, he
they
was-
just moved her
Yeah,
easement.
let me go through.
She had the easement over their property.
This is where Ms. Christensen lives.
Yeah,
Was
but
the
it
easement-
was one piece of
was the
property. Why would you
easement-
need an easement on one
When you
piece?
subdivide, you have
Was
to
the
create easement.
Yeah,
made
But
prior
was there an
to-
Well,
easement
so
that
there
went
was an
under the
easement-
foundation?
Subdivision.
Yeah.
There was
but
an
no
easement
foundation,
at the
blank piece of
subdivision,
land.
it's on the subdivision
Yeah.
map for where the
Okay.
pipe originally
Yeah, okay.
laid.
He moved
And
her
then-
easement.
And then Mr. Pagliaro bought this property and moved the easement and the pipe all on the property
Well, I
that he
mean,
controlled.
that's
And I believe he
that's
also connected to
Pagliaro's
it.
problem.
Didn't he also connect to it?
So, but oddly enough, the way our protocol goes is
Not
this
sure.
pipe
Probably.
that's in the ground, that
Yes.
wasn't inspected, does serve only Ms. Christensen.
No, I think it also serves 73 Greenleaf. I think
No.
he connected
They tie in,
to
or do they
it.
have
He
separate?
didn't tie in?
No,
No,
he
that's how
tied
this
in, but-
came to light.
I wonder if you can have it, I'm just trying to.
So, Darren, go ahead.
This all came to light because the Pagliarulo house, which is behind Miss Christensen's house, was built and sold to someone named Pelletieri. Pelletieri, in the transfer of the sale of her house, someone checked and said, well, it looks like there was never a sewer inspection.
Yeah,
This was just this past summer.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so Mr. Pelletieri hired a plumber, scoped the line, radio tracked it, prepared an as-built drawing, presented us with a thumb drive with the internal inspection, and our inspector was there and everything was fine. That's when it came to the commission that Mrs. Christensen's line also hadn't been inspected, and just recently, we did find that there was a permit. It was a long, long time ago, back in the early 2000s, 2001.
Was the permit closed?
Excuse me?
Do we know if the permit was closed or an inspection, final
The
inspection?
permit was, there was no inspection. There was a permit on file,
Yeah,
which said that county construction pulled a permit to work on her sewer in her name.
On Joe's land.
No.
yeah, ostensibly, yeah.
You know, that's a good point. It was unclear to me.
Yeah.
The permit itself didn't say,
Isn't very
we're only
specific.
gonna be working on property of 73
Yeah.
Greenleaf. It didn't say those things. It was a simple permit that was issued.
So, yeah. So the reason we initiated contact was because your neighbor went to sell the house and there became a problem between the seller and the buyer because there was no record of the permit connection, and that held them up for a while
Right.
they figured it all out, and they had to spend some money and get over the hump. And so we said, well, we ought to let the other person know that there's the same thing might happen when she goes to sell her house, and that's why you were contacted.
Right.
And so, you know, through no fault of your own, here you are.
Yeah, absolutely no.
Well,
So the question is, now that we've discovered this mess, how do we get out of it?
Can the Palantir scoping prove my sewer is intact?
No. You mentioned that they
And my
connected.
5 kids flushing? No, I'm kidding.
Flow test, flow
so,
test.
so what we need is to have proof that the part of the sewer line on this nice lady's property is good?
Yeah, well, no, it's not on her
We don't
property. it's
need
on-
that,
Well, I
but
mean,
So
she has
we-
part of it on her property.
Well, we have, a sewer was installed
Yeah.
that's there
Right,
that was not inspected,
well,
or we have no records of its inspection.
Correct.
But the connection, effectively, this house was already connected before the sewer was moved. And someone did file a permit to do this work, although then didn't close it or invite us out to look at it.
Right.
So,
that's accurate.
yeah, so there's a part of this that you should care about as the property owner, that depends on the sewer. And but I'm trying to figure out what part do we care about?
I can voice my opinion on this one. With as cloudy as this situation seems,
Yeah.
I would be concerned with exfiltration.
So you just don't know if they did a good job, and maybe we got, who
No,
knows
because,
what's going on?
because they did this while if all the information is correct here, they did this switchover when the house was still flushing. So
Yeah,
how
we
good a
don't-
job did they do?
We don't know.
It was, I did approach that subject when I had conversation with Joe Pagliarulo. He said it was literally an hour. They installed the
Crossover,
whole
yeah.
sewer, and then they disconnected and reconnected the new sewer, so.
No
But-
offense to Joe, I asked him the same question, and he said, you would have known, it would have been he said, I didn't touch your line, I didn't. So he's telling me one thing, and I just had this conversation with him last week after our conversation.
Is he still
see
an
how that's
active
true.
builder in town?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
But
I don't see how it's possible that that line was not touched when there's a house sitting on where the line used to be.
Well, but
That just doesn't
the
seem
other
possible.
thing is, if he really didn't go into Miss Christensen's property,
She has an easement.
it may
No,
be.
you didn't need to.
Yeah, didn't need to.
No. If you look at the way if he went to his property line,
yeah.
I mean, to switch, he didn't go on her property.
Yeah.
Bob, you can't move an easement without someone else's permission. She holds the easement.
But.
Please let me finish my train of
Sounds
thought.
like- Yeah, go ahead.
If he didn't go into her property to disconnect the pipe,
Yeah.
then I think there might be a zigzag in the pipe.
Yeah, oh yeah, there is.
Fernco with a 45.
No. I mean like a double 22 or something.
Yeah.
Something that's not really.
Kosher?
So.
Yes, I was-
I agree.
So that's where I'm
tell you what,
starting
so
to get.
There's, to the extent that we can, we want to help you resolve this.
It's absurd. It falls on your shoulders.
Yeah.
You had nothing to do with anything.
And on the one hand, let me just say that I think since the person that ostensibly did this work is still around and still would like to stay in the good graces of the town, because they are still doing work in town, perhaps we should invite him in to tell the story one time in front of us and both of you on what's going on and what we
Or
can
he
do to
might be-
remedy it.
Are you talking about the plumber or the developer?
Developer.
Okay.
And or both.
I can tell you, I did ask that question in anticipation and asked him if that
I'm
was
glad
his
you know what we think.
official response. He has no skin in the game. He didn't do anything wrong. There's no reason for him to revisit the topic at all.
He moved someone's easement
He's
without.
got
In other
skin in the
words-
game.
In other words, he's not talking.
He has a different opinion. He doesn't feel like he did anything under the cover of night or.
So what would you gentlemen like us to do?
But he did
Formally invite him?
trespass, but he did
Yes.
trespass on somebody's
I would like
That's
you,
what we'll do.
I would like to send him a letter from the sewer commission
We'll formally invite him.
requesting his attendance at the April meeting
Okay.
to explain exactly what he did right 15 years ago.
No, it's not necessary to give him a raised invitation, just a letter will be fine.
Can we see the easement language and see who witnessed it? What attorney may have prepared it?
I
Just
have never
pull it.
seen the easement.
Yeah,
We could just go pull it, see who was there. That would be a good
who knows,
question.
maybe there's no,
'Cause you
maybe
just
they
can't,
didn't.
you just can't move an easement without somebody's permission.
Yeah, that's really suspect.
Just,
Would you think that's trespass? Trespass
you
on
worked
an
on that
easement?
case in Peter's house where they just got rid of his driveway and caused drainage problems.
Oh, God, that was a mess.
But
Yeah,
I mean, if it could be construed as a trespass, the
it's
person who trespassed is entirely responsible for
Yeah,
any
but this
damage.
is also 2001, there's statute of limitations, but is it even a valid easement? I mean, yeah, but to your point,
yeah, I'd like to find out who did the legal work.
is there, the second question is there a deed or easement document tied to map
Well, here,
4766?
let's
So you'd
just-
like us to take a look
If you
for
could
that
just
also?
read it.
Yes, please.
It'll be in the notes here. We can read the survey.
Sometimes you're not good to do it at the same time, but yeah.
Should I also wonder how my name got on a permit for the work that's being done on his property?
Yeah, who was that contractor?
County, you said? County.
County Construction.
Are they still around?
Dick Hollihan was the plumber who worked for County Construction, and Richie Oxendorf was the manager of the company at the time. Both he and his father, Louis.
So they're still around? We can
Sure.
invite them too?
Yeah, actually, Pagliarulo told me that he discussed this with Louis or Ricky. Called him up and said, what do you remember from 10 years ago? I mean, 18 years ago or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So they actually had a conversation about that, and Pagliarulo did have that conversation before he gave his official hands-off response.
So what we would love at the end of the day, both the sewer commission and
Yeah.
the property owner, is to know that the installed sewer that seems to continue to serve your home,
And it's
that
been
hopefully,
tested-
that
tested
hopefully
for
is
18
in,
years.
that
Yes,
is
it has
hopefully
been.
is in a new easement, that you may or may not agree with, which is your own business, is at least in good condition. And
that would be cameraing it,
and
right, with a
that'd be
video?
camera.
So what does cameraing with a video roughly cost for this?
Yeah,
Couple
so
grand,
if-
$1,500?
Less. You could do it in
So
half
there's a
day
lot
for
of people that are gonna
$500.
waste time a month
We got
from now.
camera for 500, but
Yeah.
you also need to have a radio tracking device so we could get an as-built drawing.
Where it is.
Oh, okay.
And
So now you're in
If
1,000.
if you find something wrong, then of course, the
Then
price
it'll
is
snowball
much
from
more.
there. Yeah. Okay. Well,
My hope would be is that Joe Pagliarulo would say, make it all go away. And he can have the camera go in and the tracking device and all that to show that his work, I mean, the Pelletier showed that his work from where they connected to the Greenleaf was in good working order. I'm sure that ours is as well. I just don't want to incur the cost.
That makes
I
total
wouldn't,
sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't either.
Shouldn't have to.
Yeah, you shouldn't have had to then, you shouldn't have to now.
No skin in the game, huh? That's
Um,
unfortunate.
I might be paraphrasing.
No, but it,
You're getting to the intent.
I-
All right, so action items, formal letter to the developer, formal letter to the plumber. We would like to see them both here in April.
And try
You
and
get to
find
come
the
back
easement.
again if you want to listen.
I will.
And hopefully we'll get one story and we'll understand what's going on.
or if they want to, you want to.
Oh, and try and find the easement
And
document.
try to find the easement.
Yes.
Or they can go ahead and camera it and locate it with a radio and map it on the map.
All right, everybody good? Yeah, well, exactly. Or they can just agree to
Yeah.
do the right thing and make sure the
Might be-
paperwork's right and it's done, and no one has to come before
Might
me
be
if they want to
cheaper.
agree.
I like that one.
Yeah, we don't have to waste any time. They can just prove that it's done right.
I'll move that.
Get her done.
Get
And
her
the
done.
easement that you guys are looking for is not the one that Joe filed, but it's the,
It should be an easement that
So
he
there's a-
filed in your favor.
Yeah,
well, there is an easement that he filed.
well, most of,
seen
no,
it, but
most of the
I-
time,
You showed it to me.
That's,
Yeah, no.
that's the map. There's documentation. that
Yeah.
goes with it.
Not the easement map, there's a document.
There's like there's the written,
There's a
you
written
know,
portion and there's the
legal size
map.
version, and then there's the
And
map version.
actually, your deed might have to reference that.
Yeah, but, yeah.
If
Might,
if
but I
it
was already
changed.
closed and in and,
You know, I know, but it may.
Yeah, like, yeah, when you go,
Your
but here-
Schedule A, when you
here's,
go to
know,
sell, has to reference the newest easement,
Yeah,
of
the
where you
right-
put
the right
the pipe.
easement, yeah.
Your rights over
Yeah.
his property have changed,
okay.
so maybe that'll,
Yeah.
All right.
It's
too complicated.
Thank you very much.
I hope we were helpful.
yeah, well,
Well, but better now than,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
better
exactly.
now than if you were trying to sell it in
Yes.
2 weeks. I mean, that's what we're trying to clarify these situations now. We're not trying to make you incur
Yes.
anything, we're trying to
yes.
smooth out the bumps down the road.
sounds like they did it without.
But the
all gonna
original
go.
one, the original was never. Thank you.
Yeah, but it didn't need to be, because it was on their property before they subdivided.
All right,
Well-
gentlemen.
Do you want me to ask you?
Single property was it?
But if you look,
One big piece.
but if you
All right.
look at
Let's go.
where they.
Okay, that
where they-
that item is over. We're done talking about it.
No.
But
that
if you
item is
look at
over,
where they
gentlemen.
had to have turned it, they'd be so
Gentlemen.
close to the property line.
Gentlemen, it's my gavel. That item has completed for the day. We will talk
Okay.
about it more in the future.
Okay.
Item number 6, 3 and 4 Turnabout Lanes, sewer line repair, Katina Espiazo, discussion and action. Come on down. Who's going to do the intro on this one?
It's almost similar like her, actually.
Okay.
We're in 3 Turnabout Lane. My name is Katina Aspiazo. That's my husband, Marcelo Mora. We have a little issue with the neighbor too. And I've been trying to resolve this problem, okay, from the beginning, but it looks like they telling me there's a private road, there's nothing they can do. So that means it's a private road, so I don't gonna pay my taxes, and they're gonna tell me there's nothing they can do. You know what I mean? So I need you guys' help. I'm not asking for nothing hard, something easy. Sorry, my phone.
So, I'm sorry, does this
The problem
relate?
is that we have both pump in our property,
Mm-hmm.
okay? When we bought the house, we were so excited that we don't really look into that. And to later on, when they came to do the dimension of the house, we find out, oh, what is this? And that is my neighbor pump. This is my property. And then the neighbor started being a little hard, harassing us all the time. So my husband was very smart, saying, don't listen, don't do anything, leave it. One day the pump is gonna break, and we're gonna get him. And that's what happened. The pump broke, my neighbor came to my property without asking, trying to fix it himself. But at that time also my husband got sick. I know I don't need to say this, but my husband have a big issue, a big sickness. He have cancer. Okay? I cannot go in through what my husband have with my kids and the neighbor. So we call the police to say, look, this guy is doing something that's illegal. He's not allowed to be here. Whatever he's allowed, bring me a paper and show me. I called my lawyer, I told my lawyer, the lawyer said, wait, let's see what happens. So I believe 100% that we have an easement in there that is against a favor for us, okay? So time went by, harassing was more hard, with kid and everything, no control, nothing. Police say, nothing we can do. Okay, fine. So the only thing I was asking the neighbor is, I give you permission for you to, not to fix it, to remove this from my property. Because I don't know what happened tomorrow with my husband, and what am I gonna do? This is gonna be a big issue for me, see, I wanna sell my house. So he was harassing all the time, being nasty and everything. Even he told me that he's gonna kill me. I know this is nothing with you guys, but I'm just telling you what we've been going through, escalated. Okay, so.
Have you reported that threat?
Yes, yes, but the police, they say this is a case to bring to the court. Again, right now, I'm not gonna be lying to you guys, my hands are a little tied because I don't work. Who was working in giving the sustento in my house? It was my husband, So my husband has been 6 months with this problem, that he's been sitting, dying on house. So now what happened was December 15, he decided to say, finally, I'm removing it. Even though before he was using the pump broke, and we was smelling all that shit. Myself and my kids and my husband with his sickness. Several times we went to the hospital because that. They came from here, from the town hall, to tell us, let him to fix it. I say, guys, I'm not going to let him to fix it. I'm going to let him to remove it. Finally, he decided December 15 to remove it. He removed. Now, what is the problem? That he left everything open. So we're not allowed to go into our own driveway.
So let me ask, he dug out, he removed the pump?
Yes. He never removed the old pump.
One at a time,
Wait,
please, one at a time. If you want to speak, you can come up and speak, but
No, that's fine.
you gotta get your wife's permission first.
He never removed the old pump. He put a new pump in his property. But he left the old pump in our property.
Okay, so he
So
did
he
not
never
remove it.
removed the old pump. He left it open. As of right now we're speaking,
Yeah,
it's still open.
Yeah.
Very dangerous.
yeah.
As you see, I have a little one. They cannot be like that. I've been coming here crying, asking for help. Nobody want
I have
to
a
hear
quick
me.
question for you, because I'm a visual guy. Can you come over here and show me on this map, which house is yours, which
Number
house is,
3.
and so on here, which do you recognize the aerial, which one's yours?
Because I'm more like,
All right.
The second one in on the left?
It's the
Where
second, the second house,
So can you-
the first house on the right side.
You can point to yours, which is, this is yours? This one?
more so that you can see.
Oh, yeah, sure. That,
Oh, I can see it.
Or is number 3. He is in number 4.
Okay.
And the other
Is
one-
he all the way at the end on the
That's
right?
where this is my home. This is my home.
Okay, and that's his?
That's it.
That's him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And approximately where is the pump?
Right there.
And that's it, and that's it.
It's between your, oh, it's in
Yeah.
your driveway,
In that
like right
driveway.
there?
Uh-huh.
It's like right
there
here?
in
Yes.
the driveway.
Okay, and so he's trying to put it out here?
No, he already put it on.
Okay,
He put
okay.
the,
Okay.
this side,
So-
but the pump, all that one, he opened it up. It's, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 feet
He
deep.
put a.
Across your driveway?
Yeah,
He
across
put
that
a
one.
pump
But
on
when they
his
come in the
property
Saturday,
line. He left
the
He left
contractor
the
guy,
old pump and all the
the contractor
shit.
guy comes
They
Saturday
have two
15,
bathrooms.
December 15.
But now-
He
Yeah, no,
never
I
touched
read
the
it.
door.
But now you don't have any
He never
problem
called
with
us.
sewer, right?
He
I thought they were
sent
talking-
to-
So is there a
and-
trench across your driveway right now?
Yeah.
We don't
Can you use your
even know
driveway?
what
No, I
exactly
can use
he
it.
did.
He never
He was
crossed
not
it.
there.
He never
You don't
crossed
have
it.
any trouble.
Oh, my God.
He never crossed
No.
it, it went 3 months.
I want
And then
them
I
How long
to
has it
tell
been
me
open?
what rights they
December
thought they
15th.
have to.
You opened it,
Just
you've
do
had a
it.
trench
Yeah.
across your driveway
Yeah.
since December
December
15th,
15th.
and you can't
Yes,
use your
but I
driveway for the
want-
last 3 months?
The thing
I
is
want
that we
these-
have a lot of
These
proof
baby
showing
browns here,
things.
look.
The
Look at them.
other
You
pump
don't
here,
live
the
in
old
a
pump,
civil matter.
when he finished when the pump is broken, he still uses that one. Some of
And
the
then all
pump-
the shit came out.
Yeah, everything, we clean it up.
The whole department came in and I
Let
showed
me- Let
him.
me finish it. We can clean the driveway, I don't know, maybe 10 times. You use bleach, everything on the stuff, for, it smells so bad. All around. Actually, he passed every day, he stopped, we had the rim belt camera, he stopped it right there from the house to do it that
Yeah,
one.
I know the
To do it
street.
that one.
They don't have a map, so we gotta do it on the phone.
We called I called the contractor 3 times. I sent the email to the contractor guy, the guy opened it up. He never answered the phone. He didn't want to answer the phone. So the contractor never called us.
Hey, Craig?
He never.
Yes.
I'm
still
sorry,
Craig.
1 second, but I have to say this. They can't record anything because they can't hear them.
Oh, Channel
So I
79
just
can't.
want to make sure that you guys get on the record, please.
So like I was talking to you guys, and like my husband was saying, so he think he's the power of the Darien because nobody can do anything to him. Even that he trying to make us to call the fire department saying that we was renting the attic illegal. They came and I have a letter, okay? And they say not because that is a playroom for my kids. You can go see in it. We have a big house inside the attic. There is a my husband there for my kids to play in there.
All right, so let me see if, I want to make sure I have the facts generally straight. Your neighbor's sewer connection went through a pump in your driveway.
Yes.
Wait a minute. just the connection or the E1, the actual E1 is in there?
The pump is in the driveway, and then
Okay.
the connection went out to the street.
All right.
It's a private road. The pump broke. Effluent discharged to the surface for a long time.
Yes,
On December 15th, he started installing a new pump on his property and a
Yes.
new connection
yes,
to the street. And around that time, December 15th, dug a trench from his property, basically in front of your driveway in the road to put the plumbing in. And it has been open ever since.
Yes.
And we're sitting here now on March 5th.
yes, correct.
Okay,
Well done.
I've got the facts straight.
So I spoke with Anthony. He said that he sent a letter, and I have it here
Yeah,
in my
I've-
email.
I've got a
Just
couple
my-
of letters.
My printer got broke, so they say they send a letter. I talked with David, with the whole department too, telling him I cannot be having this smell. I'm being paying people
And
to
so
come
is,
and clean.
to our knowledge, is the effluent still going through the old broken pump?
Yeah, with the old broken pen, because
So
he
it-
never
because
moved.
the new one isn't
My technology
online
is,
yet.
my technology and my thing is, if the pump broke, you cannot live there. Maybe 2 days, 3 days, the longer.
All right.
Because after that, you cannot use
So-
the
so what-
bathroom, you
what
cannot
did-
use
What did
it.
the health director say?
I'm sorry?
You went to the health department?
I
And what
went
did
to,
they-
I
and
spoke
what
with
did they say?
David, yes,
What did he say?
David. They say there's nothing they can do. That he told me in his own word that he's an asshole. And he's trying to revenge us for what we did. And I said, what I did, I don't did nothing wrong. I said to tell him to remove his pump.
So we have effluent on the surface of the ground
Yes,
for a long time.
yes. So, but my thing is that I say, why nobody can help me? Why this been going for so long?
Yeah.
You know, he's not supposed to be here. But he said, you know what, I'm going there with you. And I can bring all the doctor's documents and everything. But again, every time when he sees us, fingers, things, and this. Because guess what? Exactly. Nobody's doing anything here. Nobody resolving this problem. So now he feel like it. When I want, I'm going to close this. And when I want, I'm going to let you guys to go to the driveway.
So, questions here. Anthony has been to the site.
No.
No, he's not been to the site.
The gentleman has refused to pull a permit, a proper permit, which means we will not visit that site until that permit's in place. We don't do the inspection. We want to acknowledge
Yeah.
that he did work out there.
Can we document that they're willfully violating the sewer department ordinances
Yeah, that-
and willfully violating the health code, creating
There's a letter
a
from
public
Anthony
health
Palmer.
hazard and not remedying it?
I don't know if his pump, the new pump is active and running. I know it's been connected. He wanted us to inspect it. I'm assuming that he's done enough for us to check it. But I've told Anthony he is not to go on that property because it is a private road and it is private property right now until we have an active permit. Whether he
Well-
leaves the trench open or backfills it, that doesn't.
What if we had
that is not-
permission
that's
from
not
the
a
owners
concern that I have
of
to take.
3 Turnabout Lane to go onto the private road and see the condition that's been left there?
Oh, that's what my last thing was last week that was here, and I spoke with Anthony very long. And I told Anthony, you've been telling me that this is private property. Okay, now I find a solution for us, not for him, for us. Even that we can't afford it right now, too much money, but I'm offering him I drop off permit
Yeah.
because they say, you know, he's
that's
not
clever.
coming to
No.
pull it up permit.
I want to cut. I don't like. I don't like the sound of this. I appreciate. I have no reason to doubt the truthfulness. But I will withhold full judgment because I understand I'm only getting one side of the story. But I don't like what I hear, and I don't accept the fact that the town can't force a solution more in a more determined fashion.
I'm open to any suggestions that you have. If it was in the roadway, I could have just about any right to make him do something.
Oh,
On a private property and a private driveway, what this is, I can go out there and I can inspect it. I can get permission from the other neighbor to come on the property and do the inspection. That doesn't get me a permit. that doesn't get me, him backfilling the trench. He doesn't have to do that. I cannot force him to do anything out there.
Well,
I would think if he doesn't have a working sewer, you could condemn his house.
Again, I don't have that authority.
Do we?
If he do-
I don't have that
if
authority.
he doesn't have a
The
working
health
sewer?
department has it. That's why he had to vacate his property Thanksgiving.
Oh, all right. Well,
Does the sewer
It's
commission?
getting deeper.
Oh, wait, he had to vacate his property?
Yes.
What did the health department do?
They made him vacate, he didn't have a proper working sewer, he had to leave his house. David did what he was supposed to do, and these folks, they did what they were supposed to do. They questioned why the pump was on their property and how to go about doing it. After that, it transpired into its own working element, as you see. But my responsibility is to inspect the sewer connection, and I can't do it without a proper permit. He won't have his plumber
Okay.
come in and pull a permit, he won't post a bond, he won't give us a call before, basically, he's not giving us any information to do our work. I can't stop him from what he's doing on his property.
It's,
I don't have that
so
authority.
do you know what the health department has done since Thanksgiving?
I do not. I
Okay.
can't speak to that.
there is an ordinance that says, or regulations, that says he's got to do this. He's got to give it to you, right?
Yes.
Well,
If you read Anthony's letter,
All
we
right,
have
so, I
some
mean-
options to do, but
So
none
if
of them
he-
gets him out of his chair to
Yeah,
do
but
it.
if he is-
And I feel for these people, I really do.
Oh,
I don't know what else I
don't know
can
what
do
chapter
for them.
103 of the state statutes gives us power
well,
to do.
wait. I
What
mean,
does it give us power?
it really
I'm not sure.
is. I mean,
That's
do
the
you
good one.
want the regulation enforced? I do. Do you? Of course.
But
Well,
That's what
the
they're there
town
for.
has
It's
an
for us to,
attorney.
it's for us to enforce the regulations
I
and the
would
ordinances.
write the town attorney and say, this is a problem.
That's, I'm
What are you
sorry,
gonna
but
do
that's
about it?
what I told Anthony, because what happened is, the story that we find out with this guy is when we did second floor, when we bought the house 7 years ago, right away I told my husband, we need a second floor, we need more room because we only have 2 rooms. I have 3 kids. And us, I say, I cannot live like this. He said, okay, relax, we're gonna do it. So when we do it second floor, we don't even know the story that he don't have a siding in his house. So when they came, town hall came to do an inspection in the second floor, they saw that and they said, wait, did he still not put in the siding? Almost 13 years and he's still not having siding? And I said, oh, I don't know. But then that's when it started my nightmare, because he thinking we called the town hall for him, but we didn't. We called for us. So that means my assuming is he's going to be having 15 years to closing that? I don't think so. You guys have to do something.
Well,
You know?
How is your sewer connected? Is it in the same line or is it separate?
That's what I want to find out. That's what I'm being asking. My husband have a picture there. So I don't know anything.
That's the pipe coming from the heat pump in my property.
Okay.
That's the new line.
Okay.
He did also connect.
But what about your house? Where does
No,
your
no,
house-
it's my home. It's different. No, no.
Your
That's-
house is not connected to
No,
anything
it's not connected
here.
with that. one.
We don't know. We don't know
No, it's
because
not.
that's
Who
what we
has-
was
who has
talking with
this?
Anthony.
It's not different. That's coming from
he has some documentation
my
on
driveway pump.
The
I mean, if
piping.
this-
You have a pump too?
I mean, this
Yeah,
regulation,
But it's maybe.
This regulation is
30 feet,
like an
30
ordinance,
feet separated,
right?
That's
Sewers that run out to West
That's in
Ave.
my driveway on
And,
the right side.
you know, I had a
the
little
pump is
problem,
on the
somewhat
middle,
like
right
Earth
in the
goes
middle
straight
of
out
the
to West Ave?
So
You know, it's,
what
this
I
line,
did
my
was,
property at the-
Private
my
lines
I did
property
what
that lead out to West
probably
Ave.
they
maybe.
did.
I'm
I
going
went to
down
the
like
first
the common
select
driveway?
person,
That's a little farther.
Yeah.
down.
Turnabout
And-
Or up the road.
lane is a private
They-
driveway.
you know, what to do is a little clearer, but I think it's the town, if someone's not following the regulation, it's the town attorney should be contacted and asked, what do we do about this? I mean, you've done everything you can do.
But I think we
You're not gonna
have.
get-
I
you're
think
not
I've
gonna-
explored every avenue
Right.
within my
So
authority.
it is now up to the
Yeah,
town
maybe
attorney.
this.
But if we have an SSO, then the health department should be there tomorrow.
I mean, if I
But
were
if
these
they vacated
people,
the residence,
He-
there's
he was
nothing
there at the
coming
beginning.
from it.
I mean,
I'm just saying,
if I were these people and the town didn't take action, I'd get an attorney, I'd get a writ of mandamus.
I believe that both of their attorneys have been.
Yeah.
This is what we have to take
I mean,
care
you know,
of.
because-
I'm just
Say the
saying
shed.
that
Yeah.
This is what we have to live. And my son room is right there. That's
Okay,
not,
yeah, let me, so,
The town should be doing it.
I mean,
we're gonna,
Believe me, I work around that every day. You have to show me.
all right, let me get us back,
Right?
let me
That's
get
an
us
E-
back to
it's an
trying to
E1
take
pump
some
is what it
next
is.
steps.
see?
What heck of an agenda?
You think that is good?
Yeah, I do
Can
it.
I go to know that?
So this is Trohan stuff.
As a little
So,
field.
so Craig, what we're
why do
looking
we-
for right now
Hold
is,
on.
you have direction for me, what you'd like me to do. I think I've had Anthony write a nice firm letter to this person.
Yes.
I cannot physically do anything on their property. You understand that, right?
So, yes, I understand that.
So what is, guys have ideas. You want me to go to the town attorney? Is that your suggestion?
Yeah.
I will do that
Let me
next.
Okay,
just-
go
let me
ahead.
try to do my little summaries. This helps me reinforce what I
were good
understand.
before.
I got one,
One
so
for
let's,
one.
I don't think I can get two tonight, but we'll find out. I do have one more question, but I'm gonna say this first. I think, between, Director Knopf and yourself, that we should, elevate this case, for lack of a better term, to the town attorney and ask their opinion as to what levers we can, as town, pull to effectuate a result, right? To stop the discharge of raw effluent to the surface of the ground, to remedy an unsafe and open trench, and to force compliance with our ordinance. And it's not just us. I definitely think health needs to be involved as well. And maybe the town attorney can advise on the extent or limits of our power to help effectuate change. So that's the action that we're going to take today.
Okay.
Last question for you, and I think I know the answer, and I don't necessarily, and you might not want to hear this question, but have you talked to an attorney about?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And then the attorney told me to come here to the town hall and give it another talk
Yep.
to say why they cannot help us.
Yep.
So, and that's what I even told Anthony. And then Anthony mentioned me to come here today.
Yep.
And I say, okay, I'm coming here today because the attorney say, with the whole power, I have the right to close that. But now Anthony, I don't know there was supposed to be permit and all these things.
Yeah.
And to Anthony told me. So now, this is what I want to do. I want to close it. I want to do everything myself. And whatever it is, then I'm going to sue them, and I'm going to sue the town.
So you're gonna get your,
because
you want to get your driveway back. and
exactly
Covered up and take your
everything
driveway
clean,
back.
everything the way it was. So that way, see, nobody hear me, nobody want to do anything. I'm going to do it myself because I have my
So,
lawyer respond me.
I don't want to prevent you
Mm-hmm.
from doing anything you feel you need to do with advice of counsel to protect yourself and protect your interests. You should continue to do that. I don't want to pause that or upset it or give you any ideas about what that is. That should be between you and your attorney. But in the meantime, we will explore the limits of our authority to effectuate the situation.
Okay, because also see, you see on the map how they're going with the lamp is very quick. It is very funny how it's going. Because see, I close this line here, the neighbor can come out. But the next neighbor, she close the line, we can come out. So it's like,
Yeah,
because
right.
technical, that is my line, that I have an access and the right to do what I
It
want.
certainly feels like this is being done out of spite, and I don't like bullies. But we're going to figure out if there is anything we can do about it and what
Okay.
that is. And I encourage you to do the same on your end.
Okay, sounds good.
All right? Everybody else good? Any further questions? Need for additional information? Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
I would just think that
We're not going to do any more sidebars after the matter is closed.
We need a resolution
If you
on
want
that.
to talk to me, we could do a
No, I'm
one-on-one
just
conversation afterwards.
mumbling to myself
Right,
more
yeah,
than anything
but-
else.
Do we need a resolution on that?
Do I have a motion to contact the town attorney and explore whether or not there's something that we can do to?
I make that motion.
Okay, second, and all those in
Second,
favor?
yeah.
Aye.
A motion. Get all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do we enforce
All right, again, we're going to go to superintendent's report, but before we get too far, we still have two people in the audience, and I happen to know they are here on item 7C, so I would like to hear item 7C first. I will also say for the record that I will be recusing myself from any consideration on item 7C having to do with Parkland's Assisted Living and Parkland's Office Park. And that is because redness and need is retained by the property owners. So technically here, Bob, the gavel is
great.
yours.
Great.
I'll see you in 2 minutes.
Okay. Technically.
Before they get started, I'd just like to brief the commission on the status. I just handed out what's titled Access and Maintenance Agreement. This has been reviewed by their council, has been reviewed by our town council. Both of them agree. The commission has directed staff in the past to get town council to approve of this. They did. We worked through all the details of the map, and let's see. We would ask the commission tonight to approve that the chairman sign this document and accept it, and then they can sign and accept it as well. And there are still a few other parts that we need to take care of. They haven't provided us with an as-built drawing yet. We have every reason to believe that they will. That is a separate issue aside from the commission approving for the chairman to sign this document. That brings us up to date as of 4 o'clock today. We have this in our hand.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And I mean, it just seems like today is the exception. I mean, to get, and this is just a statement, just to make a statement, but to get 15 pages of stuff in the last 2 hours, to me is unreasonable for me to be able to process it. You know me, I like to read everything. Even if I don't understand it, I still want to read it.
I agree.
So
and we have
when
more
we're going to go to
hands.
new business, I'm going to address this because this just isn't right. I feel like I'm backed into a corner.
We have handed out an inordinate amount of handouts this evening. This particular document, the commission has seen before in some form, and the commission has directed us to get both sides to agree. We're not asking you to review this. We're telling you that what you've asked for
Is here?
is here. You've asked for town council to review and approve it. Town council has reviewed and approved it. Their council has also weighed in. They've reviewed and approved it. This is okay. We come to you and say, what you have in your hand is okay.
I make a motion that we ask the chairman of the sewer commission to receive this and sign it.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Opposed? Abstain?
And you're signing.
I know that.
There's irony there.
There's more than irony here, the fact that we're getting all this stuff at the last minute. Yeah, well, no, sorry, the motion passes.
Yeah, motion.
Thank you. By the way, did you want to pick up any new clients tonight? Because there was some really interesting stuff. I think there's some people that need representation.
Thank you very much for your consideration. Let's see, the cruising. It's been a wonderful experience dealing with all the departments in town. We're getting close to the CO. We should have it this week. And thank you for your help.
Yeah, when do you think you're opening? When do you think you're...
Well, we have 30 people ready to move in. We're hoping on the 11th.
What is the capacity? I forgot.
100. Actually, it's a little less. 96.
Are there apartments in there?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it came out very nice, and you should stop by and just take a look. It's going to be a very nice facility, and we have a lot of people interested in moving in and getting into it soon. So
Yeah, 30 is a good start for opening
thank
day.
you very much.
Well, we've seen how hard you've worked to put this together. I know it hasn't been
Is
easy.
this the copy I have to sign?
And
Yeah, do we have a final version?
Yeah, you have it.
We do.
You have it.
You can sign it right now.
That, I handed it out to him. I handed him a copy.
Take a picture of you signing.
I have to find the right page.
We gotta think about our highlight reels, this might make it.
Wait a minute. How many times do I have to sign this?
We gotta take it back.
Your name's there
We
somewhere.
do have to have it notarized, Mr.
Can I pick it
Hill.
up in the morning from you guys and?
Sure, unless,
I'll get our side.
Does he have to notarize it?
Yeah, I think you have to do it in front of one of the,
Process tomorrow.
Notaries?
you might have to come in tomorrow.
I actually can do that,
Oh, you're a notary?
if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah.
Attorneys have
Yeah,
special.
absolutely.
Oh, okay.
powers under statutes to do that.
Okay, no, I can't, because I can't come in
Let's
tomorrow.
get it
I
done,
work
because
in-
the CO's coming up. I'm gonna take the picture and send it to Bob.
I think.
Same
that-
version.
He's hesitating, he
Yeah.
really doesn't
I
wanna
don't-
do
You
it.
got that from
Every
Jackie?
time the pen goes
I
down.
tried
it's-
Excuse me?
Wait, just one second.
Okay, I'll wait.
What's his name?
That's a heavy pen, isn't it?
yes, that sounds correct,
What-
yes.
He has to go
I
against his
think
own
that-
free
What I'll
will.
do is I'll send a courtesy.
What's the attorney's name?
Mr. Sweeney.
Mr. Sweeney.
Okay.
Uh,
That
Oh,
sounds
you,
fair.
you overheard
It
out in
was
the
my
hall?
I listened to the control
understanding
room.
that attorneys only
I
had
have things I could say in general
notary
about your
power
concern,
when it comes
not in
to,
specific.
Oh, I'm not, I wasn't
Land
speaking in
is-
specific,
Negative.
no?
but you guys might not entertain my new
I'm an
business
attorney,
about
and I
something I
always-
want to
always
say.
thought-
Especially
Yeah, but I
since
mean,
we're at 6 already and we haven't even gone through the rest of the
It's
I'm
agenda.
sorry, I told you this
Take your word
yesterday.
for it.
All right, let's go.
All right, there we go.
All right,
Are you gonna give that pen away afterwards?
no,
Can I, do you want the pen?
I'm gonna forget my name here in a
I mean,
minute.
you gotta sign with little, several pens.
Today's what, the 5th?
So we can all have one.
Go through the superintendent's report.
Yeah, I won't be holding them. You're doing the II, right?
Great.
Sorry.
You do see.
I will do everything.
I love that we can,
Except-
You're memorialized now.
we can vote
Okay.
Land record.
for Bob to go against his own free will.
Okay.
Can this work for other things?
The
power of government.
Yeah, we vote that
A
you
witness here
have
and a
to
witness
jump
there.
in the ocean.
Okay, we got a witness.
Wow.
The statute in Connecticut.
Yes, it does. Let's see. Where do I go?
Oh, to the right,
On this,
bottom right.
this line. Right
Line
here,
where
yeah.
the place.
I wasn't opposed.
Go easy on it.
God, will you?
No, you're absolutely right. P and Z, they used to do it, like document dumps, the day of the hearing you get, and it was like, no, Friday before
Yeah, look,
Tuesday.
we're done, right? Oh, 2 witnesses?
Two witnesses.
Oh, boy, this is exciting.
I don't think it's unreasonable that we get 24 hours before.
Well, I agree. Okay. Thank you.
When they get a haircut.
I need one of the pens back.
Yeah, you can have both.
Well, we're not done yet. Again?
You signed this as your free act of deed? Yes, I do.
Oh, yeah, well, yes.
There was no coercion.
I signed it as vice chairman of the sewer commission.
Yes, you did.
So we're back to A.
Are we ready to go, gentlemen? To superintendent's report?
As soon as you guys are back with us, everybody here?
I'm here, I'm good to go. Superintendent's report, item number 7.
Let's start at A, how's that?
Yep.
I am currently in the mix of putting a lot, I got about 4 or 5
That's
samples.
okay, I just need to write some things.
So I'm working on the RFQ right now.
Okay.
Got some pretty good samples to work off, with some good information from a couple consultants, so
Okay, so that's in progress.
that's in progress,
Okay.
all right?
B,
Seagate Pump Station, Darren would tell you about it, but he's talking right now.
Seagate, are you done?
Oh, sorry.
Seagate Pump Station, we've made great strides with the YMCA. They had a bunch of questions, which I think are fair and reasonable. We have answered them, and we're just working through the details. Now we expect to have the easement issue resolved soon.
It's in the
Parkland, we
works.
just did. Heather Lane and Lake Drive has to do with the meter crossings.
oh, yeah.
And we are working on that actively.
In process.
Installing permanent meters.
Our next step, we're preparing plans. Our next step is to go for a building permit, get prices from an electrician.
Good.
We already have prices from the metering company and Mission Control for our SCADA. So we're on track there. Norotan Bay sewer inspection, that was something that Mr. Van Winkle, Commissioner Van Winkle brought to our attention. And to date, we've inspected about 1,000 feet of sewer in the area. We have found no problems. Everything is in perfect condition. We don't plan to
Okay.
spend the rest of our lives down there. We think that we've overturned enough stones to give us a feeling of comfort, and we can move on. I hope
'Cause
that
they're gonna-
suffices.
They voted at the meeting to do the roads, you know, not all at once, but some, you know, I don't know what the schedule is. Well, that's good to know.
Okay, it's looking good down there. We raised a manhole next to I-95 over by Old Kings Highway North by Mr. Fuji Restaurant there.
Okay.
The DOT, it turns out it's on the DOT property, and they objected to how high it was. We lowered it. Took off 3/4 of block. It's still high enough to prevent water from going in. This month is March. We were told by the board of I'm sorry, not the board, the finance department, that we'd be able to get the bondable interest rates this month. So as soon as we know those interest rates, we can start tying up the assessment process, because people will be able to make an informed decision about what their payments will be once we know the interest rate. We hope to be able to report back in April and tell you that. That's it for the superintendent's report.
Okay, question. Manhole, you're saying you lowered it 18 inches, but it's still high enough? Then why
Okay.
was it ever 18
I
inches
left out a
higher?
part.
Oh, yeah.
It was too low, and we believe that water was going in to the manhole. There was like a pond over the top of the
I'm
manhole.
familiar with-
So we raised it.
Okay.
And when we raised it, it was about as high as this table. And a state truck went by and said, no, somebody's gonna hit that. We don't like it. It's probably 50, 100 feet from the edge of the highway, but nevertheless, we did lower it. Not as low as it originally was. We left it still high enough so that water will not go in through the surface of the manhole.
Okay.
So we dropped about 18 inches off it, and then we feathered the ground around it. So you see the manhole cover, but it looks like a little anthill, if you
So
will.
that's what those guys were doing out there when I drove by.
Correct.
How'd they
Okay.
even see it?
But does it have the, oh man, I forgot the name of it, the cup that goes in there in that,
No.
man?
Not necessary right now.
It's above.
It's above the water level now.
It's
Well, but it is a
probably about
ponding
this high
area.
above the grade.
It's above the ponded elevation height.
Yeah.
The water will run off before it'll go over the top of the manhole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Onward.
The manhole frame and cover is no longer submerged.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it time to go into executive session?
It
I
is.
believe so.
Well,
Somebody.
when would we do new business?
Next
We
time.
do have new business.
It'll be quick.
Oh, we have a.
Come on, you got it.
Make a motion for new business
I
for
sec-
5 minutes,
I'll second
maximum.
that. With the 5 minutes stipulation. Yeah, I am. I'm going for it.
I'm putting my clock on.
I can say it in 5 minutes.
Well, yeah, but what do we get to say in response?
I can say, all right, well,
He can.
All right.
I
let's
handed
get
out
going.
the appeal. I think.
All right.
Mr.
All those in favor of
No,
going into
no,
new
no, that's
business,
not the-
say
that's
aye.
something else.
Aye, we're
Aye.
going into business. What's up, Bob?
there's no way we can get paperwork this like this. I would say 24 hours before the meeting, or 36 hours, so that we got it yesterday.
So-
It just doesn't work for me. I feel
Three
so
things.
uncomfortable, it's not funny.
3 things. I don't like policies that don't have exceptions. So you were prepared to tell, the opening of a, pick a number, $50 million facility that they want to get their CO by the 11th to wait a month because they got the stuff to you late.
That's their lawyer's fault, not my fault.
Well, I happen to know that it went to the town attorney for Darien on Friday for confirmation that all the right changes were made, and that confirmation didn't come until today.
But I can't sit here and read it under.
And in this specific instance, the only thing that was changed in that document was to refer to the correct map, because the last one, which was already signed by the sewer commission, referred to the wrong map.
But you have inside information on
I
this
do.
that I don't have, so.
Well, they would have
So
discussed
you
it.
feel comfortable while I don't.
Yeah, okay. I don't like any hard and fast rule. I think we should continually be customer service oriented. It is reasonable if we receive a lot of information to say I haven't had an opportunity to look at a lot of information, but it is also reasonable to hear a story that can be described simply on a given night to help move things along and not delay them for a month.
I said information. I didn't say that, I don't know. I just disagree. I mean, like the stuff we got yesterday electronically, that was fine. If I had gotten this yesterday electronically and looked at it last night, I would have felt much more comfortable. Getting this handed to me now, I don't feel comfortable. Plain and simple.
Okay.
Noted.
Don't think it's fair. Don't think it's proper.
Okay,
It may be the way that the world runs, doesn't mean it's right.
sometimes.
I think there are times when we should consider it, and I think there's times that we shouldn't. I think we should be open-minded.
Okay.
And what are you gonna do? I mean, like I
It's
said,
time
this
to
one,
start
I still have 2.5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Got the floor.
He does.
Like I said, you have inside information, so you felt comfortable. This, however many page document it was, here, 10, 8, I'm supposed to sit here and read legalese, which is gonna take me, as a common person, longer anyway.
Look, I'm not saying that if you were given 15 pages that you needed to read for the first time, that it would be appropriate to do that at the night of the hearing and expect you to read those 15 pages. But the specifics in this particular case were not that. The specifics in this particular case was they wanted to provide enough
But
information
that
in case
wasn't
you...
the only one. We also got 4 pages from Civil One.
I think
We got this. I mean, we've gotten over 20
Bob,
pages today.
It's the compounding of everything today. It seemed like there was a lot of documents presented just today.
I mean, at some point, you gotta say enough is enough.
Yeah.
You have to
didn't
be
make the
able to
agenda.
do what we have correctly,
Yeah. I think you're.
rather than doing everything at
You're
80%.
totally right. It was a cumulative effort of a lot of things tonight. Each one into their own wouldn't have been a big deal. But it added up to be a big deal. So we'll try and.
I mean, we still have we still have an appeal here that we have to look at.
So why don't we move on and do that? Totally agree. I can feel the way you do because it did seem like a document dump a little bit tonight based on the unique circumstances tonight.
A lot of handouts, we apologize.
Yes. No, it's cool. And you're absolutely right. Time ahead is good. So going forward, that'll be.
I mean, even getting it electronically.
So our instruction to staff is do your best to...
I don't think we need to change anything
But-
because
but-
most nights, this was just to note Bob's feeling right now. It was a night that seemed
To
that
at least
way.
say that
We
the
acknowledge
the
how you
sewer
feel.
commission has the right not to hear an item
Yeah.
if all the information isn't in by the Friday beforehand, so
Yeah.
go in our packets. So
Yeah.
at least inform them that we might defer it if
They
we
might
don't
have to
have
come
all
back.
the information ahead of time.
Do the best I
So
can.
if they have a critical deadline, it's on them.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
okay.
Any time left?
Can we go in, or do we
No,
have to
my
hear this
time's
appeal?
done. Yes.
All right.
Well, it's,
So is that
it's
also
in-
new
We got
business?
it.
Is that new business too? The appeal?
He yields to the,
I guess it could be considered new business.
Or is this math?
No,
It's not math. Well, it is math, but it's not math. I mean,
I'll give you my 2 cents on it.
Go.
Right now,
What about your $6,000?
the numbers say there was a leak,
Yeah.
but there's no, and it stopped,
They didn't find the leak.
but there's no reason for it stopping or proof that it was a leak that was either extraneous to our system or was repaired. So I would say we table it until such time that we're given information that shows it was either extraneous to our system and/or repaired.
Okay. So we want
That's
a
my comment.
plumber's note or something saying, I fixed it.
That would be my
Or it
comment.
was outside, or it was, running into the basement, or whatever.
Because from my calculations, looking at it, it was about 720,000 gallons.
Peter, any thoughts on this matter?
I would suggest that we ask the staff to see if you can find any more information on this and just table it until we do, because I don't know how you fix what you don't know is broken.
It could have been a tenant. You're right. We didn't know.
No, I mean, it isn't, whoops, sorry.
I mean,
We need more information.
Yeah.
Bob said, is there, can we find out if there is someone who is kind of in charge of the property, because I understand perhaps the woman who this letter was written for may not be fully cognizant of day-to-day events.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's sweet.
But-
Is there
yes.
anybody else who
I mean, I
sort of runs the property, or is it some run itself?
think Tamara did a great job getting information from her.
Yeah.
She did quite a bit of information, digging it up, and I know she spoke to this lady
It's-
at
it
length
starts-
about the
yeah.
issue, trying to get information that
Gets
you're
progressive.
asking for now, but we can go back and try
And then
again.
it stops.
But understand that, I know she asked the right, I was listening to her talk to her, I know she asked the right questions and trying to get,
I mean, this
hey,
is-
does your husband get it
Wonder-
fixed?
Yeah.
Are there bills anywhere, things like that.
I mean,
And
I
then there was
wonder
this
if.
random thing that
if-
happened
If,
in
the
February
woman
and March of
pays the
16.
taxes, or
And it
is
starts
somebody
to
else
just
paying them
ramp up across 16 and 17.
to the
And then
town?
it stops.
I can answer that because the reason she came to the sewer department was when she went to
You know
pay
what?
her sewer bill, they
Meter-
said it seems very high.
The meter could have broken. The water meter could have been screwy. Could have been anything.
Well, but
But we don't know.
there was other new business about this that I wanted to bring up because at some point in time, we need to have Intel put something in our program that
Picks up
picks up
anomalies.
these, because Aquarian is in the
Not.
business of selling water, so they don't give a rat's patootie.
Okay.
All right, moving on from patooties, it sounds like the consensus of the commission is to table this and ask the
More information.
appellant to provide more information as to the nature of the water use that occurred between, let's just say,
Where the 17, where
basically
where it goes up to
July
17.
2016 to April of 2018.
Is there any opportunity to ask the water company if they change the meter?
Yeah, but there's
Yeah.
other spikes too.
That's,
weird.
so, was it,
But that
was there, what, did Aquarian report any problem with their water meter? Was there any odd use of water that may have not gone down the drain? Was there a running toilet? Was there a leaky faucet?
Were they filling up a pool truck?
Were they filling up pool trucks in the back? Is there a hockey rig? We need closure on the fact that whatever was broken is fixed before we can consider the appeal.
Who submitted this?
Email? Or
I am presenting
memo?
this appeal on.
Tamara.
Oh.
Oh, Tamara
okay,
wrote
that's
this.
sort
Okay,
of-
got it.
all right.
I had one thought, and that would be to contact the tenant and ask who does the property management.
I contacted the tenant.
But she didn't ask that.
Yeah.
May,
And do we know that tenant's been living there the entire time?
since August of last year, which would have been four
And
months
the-
after
Yeah,
the
and everything's-
water
and
dipped,
everything's fine.
because it dipped in April. So possibly
you
there's a
could ask
property
who does
manager who
property
might
management.
know the, what happened.
Darren,
Okay.
we have that right?
She's paid both charges today.
I mean, it's seriously leaning towards an adjustment, but I just can't do it without.
All right, well, let's see if we can uncover any more information and talk about it next month.
All right.
All right, is that it for new business?
Yes.
Yes.
And we want to go into executive session, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, Channel 79, it is towards the end of our agenda. The next item for us is to go into executive session, after which we will not discuss any further new business. We will simply adjourn the meeting when we come out of executive session. So, I'm going to ask for a motion to go into executive session.
I make a motion.
Peter says yay, Reese says second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are going to be going into executive session. Darren will confirm that Channel 79